Most contractors I talk to are leaving six figures on the table every year. Penalties they could have avoided and bonuses they never fully maximize. Today, I'm going to show you where that money's going and how to put that money back on your bottom line. I'm Scott Allen. I'm the founder of Compactica, and I've spent my career around asphalt, and I started my company when I got sick and tired of finding out on Department of Transportation jobs about a week or so later, after the asphalt was already placed and the mat was already cool, what our results were and how much we got in bonus or how much we got penalized. So let me show you the math on where this money is going and then where it's leaking from. Here's the thing most people miss about pay factors. Your pay factor isn't just a pass or fail. It's a dial. So in a bonus state, that could lead you anywhere from complete rework of the mat to a break-even pass or fail to a full 10% bonus on your asphalt and everything in between. So you can pass every lot, feel good about it that you hit the specification, and might still be only sitting at 3/4 of the maximum amount of money that you achieved. So you didn't fail, you just left a lot of money on the table and nobody sends you a bill for that money that you didn't capture, so it's invisible, and that's usually why it goes on for years and years. So let's put a number on things. Why don't you go ahead and grab a pen. Number one, how many tons did you lay under a DOT acceptance project? Not a private job, but a DOT job. Let's say last year it was 250,000 tons. And then in your state, what's a full bonus typically worth? Obviously it depends on the state, specifications, and your mix, but let's be conservative and call it $3 per ton. So it's pretty easy to calculate your ceiling. Obviously 250,000 tons at a maximum of $3 per ton. So your ceiling is $750,000 a year. What are you actually capturing? Number three. Let's be honest, when you're filling out these numbers, most operators I see are typically at 75%, depending on the state. And that's not because the crews are bad, but it's because they're inconsistent. And usually, that's only a slip in like one shift every 7 is where that quality goes down. So let's say 75% is what you're typically capturing, which is a gap of 25%. So 25% of $750,000 is $187,500 left on the table every season. And that's on work you already did with crews that you already paid. And then, lastly, most contractors I talk to are typically get about $50,000 to $100,000 in penalties on top of this every year. So let's say just $50,000. So add that in, and we're looking at $237,000 left on the table every season. So now, why don't you go ahead and run that with your own numbers, and I'll bet it'll be 6 figures. So where does that leak come from? And this is how I like to think about this on every job, in the order that the asphalt moves. 3 things that the DOT actually pays you on: the ride, the density, and the mix. And here's the 4 places where you typically win or lose your bonus or penalty. It's either in the plant, haul, placement, or compaction. And that's obviously in the flow that the asphalt moves. And there's one thing constantly running under it, working against you, and that's the temperature, and what I like to call the clock. So every bonus dollar you lose, you're losing on one of these 4. It could be, a cold mix out of the plant that sat too long in the trucks. It could be a bad, joint placement. And then the big one for density is obviously the compaction. The roller pattern that was dialed on Monday that drifted by Thursday. And that's typically one shift in 7 you see one of these things go off. And here's what matters. You can fix it all with one of 3 things. So systems, training, and technology. That means better processes, better people, and technology that catches the slip while the mat is still hot, obviously, instead of the report and the core results that come 3 weeks later. Now here's the honest part, and it's the real reason that the leak stays invisible. Most contractors have no way to see where this leak is happening shift to shift. You typically find out a lot got penalized from the DOT weeks later when the core results come back, and that's obviously long after the crew has already gone home and the mat has cooled down. And unless you're implementing some kind of technology, you don't have that data at all. And that's really the whole point. You can't fix what you can't see until it's already too late. So I'm not going to tell you to go out and pull a bunch of data that you don't have. Instead, I'm going to give you 2 pieces of homework that you can use before the next video. So number 1, calculate your missed bonus. Run those numbers that I just showed you with your own real tonnage and get the actual figure. I bet it'll get your attention if nothing else. And then number 2, think about your misses throughout the year. So when you don't hit your max bonus or you get a penalty, what are you typically hearing from your supers, from the guys on the ground, or when you do your own investigation? Is it the trucking that was an issue? Maybe, like I said, the load showed up too cold or late. Is it the plant? Was the mix running in a whack, or was it running too hot or too cold? Or is it the compaction? Did the rolling pattern that you established on Monday slip, by Thursday, or maybe even by the end of the shift and the guys wanted to go home? So maybe you don't know where these penalties come from, and maybe it's one of them, maybe it's all 3, but that's the point. And that's completely fine if you don't know where it's coming from. Because over the next few videos, I'm gonna break down each one of these 3. Each piece of this framework that I just showed you, why it's costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and how to use that framework I just showed you to fix the issues and put that money back on your bottom line. So the first piece of homework is calculate your missed bonuses and your penalties. And I built a free worksheet that actually does this for you. It's the same 4 numbers. You can figure it out in about 5 minutes with your own numbers, and the link is below. Or you can comment the word bonus and I'll send it to you. And follow along, because the next week I start breaking down this framework a little further, piece by piece, starting with the biggest one for that big density bonus, which is compaction.